Hello and welcome to part 5 of the Gobi March 2026 course preview series with the Mappings 3D course map. Today we are looking at stage 5 of the race, which takes you through the Orkhon Valley, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is really beautiful, a big highlight of the race for a lot of people. And the defining feature of this day are the water crossings. It's impossible to have a Racing the Planet event without a couple of water crossings, and this stage has the most. So in order to count them and make a strategy around the water crossings, what we're going to do is enter a inhumanly high pace, like 250 kilometers an hour, with which you can get through the entire stage in about 11 minutes. And then we're going to hit play, zoom out a little bit, and then we'll start counting the water crossings. So this takes us by Camp 5. Right away, we can see there's a water crossing early on. We have made a video that shows the depth of different water crossings on this day that is being posted to social media in a couple of days. So look out for that. That will give you some other insight about how to prepare for these water crossings. Just for this video, we're just going to talk purely about strategy. So it looks like after that first one, there's not really much water for a couple of kilometers. So what we can do is speed up the simulation with a multiplier or put in a higher speed. At this speed, grasses and things don't load in. So if you want to see what's on the ground, for instance, by this water crossing, just hit pause and zoom in again. And usually after a couple of seconds, things will load in. So you can see that most of the terrain after that first water crossing was this kind of grassland steppe. It looked like there was some agricultural land, and then there appear to be kind of these bushier, rougher patches, and then sandy banks. So here we'll continue. That was our second water crossing. A third one right by checkpoint 1. And then it looks like there's this agricultural section right before what appears to be here. Let's slow it down a little bit and move up further. It looks like here we've got a little brook that runs underneath a road alongside this kind of like rockier terrain. It's unclear if this is going to be a water crossing. It could be if it's rainy and wet. If it's not, then it looks like runners will just go alongside of it. And then I guess right up here, we've got some agricultural land before beginning what is a pretty long uphill. So with this information, it's possible to actually make some pretty interesting strategic choices. I have seen runners at Racing the Planet events go through water crossings barefoot, taking off their shoes and socks, and then toweling off after the water crossing. I've seen runners take off wet socks and put on dry socks as well, which is a pretty sensible strategy. Given that this is stage 5 of the race, I would guess that most runners will have pretty bad blisters, so going barefoot through one of these muddy rivers is probably a bad idea. But if we were to run through to the end of the stage, you'd see there's only one other water crossing right before the finish. That information allows us to determine that if you were to change into a pair of dry socks for this last bit, which is running on a sort of a dirt road with some gravel on it, a great place to change your socks would be around kilometer 17, right after this road crossing, agricultural crossing. That would allow you to put on not only socks that'll protect your feet, but you'll be probably much more comfortable than the runners who are doing this last climb in fully wet shoes and wet socks. So that's the big lesson, I think, for stage 5 is be mindful of these early water crossings and plan your strategy around that. Runners will get to these water crossings at different times. Obviously, no one's going to be running at 250 kilometers an hour. But if you were to put in a more reasonable speed, like 5 or 6 kilometers an hour, you can kind of time to see when you're going to get where. This valley is incredibly gorgeous. I recommend checking it out on your own with our course map. The joke is it looks a little bit like Switzerland. I hope you enjoyed this video and our course preview series. And let me know if you have any questions about the Mappings 3D course map. It is available for sale on the Racing the Planet store, as well as at www.mappings.ai. Thank you.